Hello and welcome to another Python tutorial. My name's Tom with LearnPythonTutorial.com, and in today's tutorial we're going to write an actual program. This one might be a little long, and I hope you guys stick around and watch the whole thing. You will learn something. What I'm doing in today's tutorial is helping out our friend Luke over here. Our friend Luke, me and him were talking back and forth on YouTube, helping him with a program he was trying to write, where he takes stock in food. And when a user eats food, he removes the food from the stock, and he also tracks how much food the user's eaten. So in his message to me here, after we were commenting a little bit, he sent me an email and asked for a little bit more help. And it says, I would like to allocate one food type to a person and update the amount in the stock. I would also like to be able to print a message to the screen indicating the person has been fed their food type. If the person has not been fed, there is no remaining food that matches their preference. Print a message to the screen indicating the person has not been fed their food type. And one last one, if the person attempts to eat twice, print a message to the screen indicating that the person's been sent to the break. Alright, so he runs a pretty tight ship over there. You can't be eating more than once. But anyway, I said, sure, we'll help you out. I asked him if it would be fine if I use this as a tutorial on YouTube to show you guys how to write a program. Now, when I write a program, I take a lot of baby steps. Some programmers out there might say, hey, that's a lot of work for to get somewhere. But you know what it is I hate writing a program and getting to the end and finding out it doesn't work. I like to test out what I'm doing, make sure everything's functioning before I move on to the next step. So baby steps gets me there, but the program always works fine at the end. So I'm going to show you the process I take to write a program. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's create a new file. I'm in my Sublime Text. You can use whatever text editor you like. I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it stock.py. I already have one created because that's what I showed Luke how to do. So his first request was he wants to be able to have stock of food. Now, what you don't see in the messages that we had there was we're talking in our comments on YouTube. He was doing it with a dictionary. Perfect. That's what you want to do because dictionaries work great. They're kind of like a database. So first thing we want to do is create a dictionary to hold our stock. So I'll use a variable stock, and I'm going to assign that to a dictionary. And I'm going to put some food items in here. So apples, we'll say there's 5 apples. Oranges, we'll say there's 2 oranges. And then let's do pears, and we'll say there's zero pears. Alright, sweet. So now we kind of have like a database of stock that Luke has at his restaurant over there. So what we got here is the key and the value, the key and the value, the key and the value, right? So he wants to be able to add and subtract from the values, add and subtract from the values, add and subtract from the values when something's eaten, all right? So the next thing he said he wanted to do was be able to track when the food's eaten. Well, I'm not really sure if Luke was going to like hard code like a for loop in here and have people eat and add and subtract from here, but what I'm going to do is take it one step further and let it be more user friendly, where the user actually enters in what food was eaten and then subtracts it from there. So we're going to use the input function in Python. So we're going to say food. We're going to equal that to the input function, or assign that to the input function, and say what food was eaten. Alright. So what this does is when we run our program in the terminal, it's going to ask you a question. What food was eaten? Then you enter the food. And when you enter the food, or the food that was eaten, this variable is going to be assigned to represent that data. All right, so we're able to access that data. So the next thing I want to do is just go ahead and open up my terminal. Make sure you're in the directory that holds your stock.py file, and I'm going to type in Python 3 because that's the path to my Python 3 software. Python 3 and then stock.py to run this program. As you can see, it says, what food was eaten? Well, I'm going to say apples. Alright, cool. Nothing happened. But something did happen in the back end. When I typed in apples, now food is pointing to apples. Alright, so what I can do is, to test that, is do print food. Alright, and I'll save my program again, go back. If you press up, you get your last command. What food was eaten? Apples. Now I'm printing food and it's saying apples. Alright, cool. So now I can print it back and it says, hey, food is representing apples. Alright, we're getting somewhere here. We're going to remove that print statement because I know it works already. Now, we need to be able, when we get the food from the user, we got to be able to remove it from the stock here. Now, if you're following along in our tutorials before, we know that we can access a dictionary's values via its keys. So let's do stock, because now we're getting the dictionary. Stock represents the dictionary. Square brackets, and then we're going to put food. Alright, so when a user enters in apples, it's going to come back as a food, or the food to represent this. So if I entered apples, it's going to come back as apples, so it's going to go in stock and find apples. Next thing I want to do is minus equal 1 to subtract one number from our stock here. But save, we'll run this program, and food will be in here, and it will remove one apple. But I will not be able to see that visually. And when I come back and look in here, it's not going to change it in my text editor. So let's just do one further step here. Let's do print stock. And this is going to print out our dictionary so we can see what is actually going on when this program runs. I want to go in here, Python 3, and run it again. What food was that? Eaten. Apples. Alright. Now if you see up here, we actually have 5 apples, and now we have 4 apples. So it actually went and removed it. So when this program runs, it ends after the print statement right here, or right here, and it ends. So if I run it again, stock, apples, we get 4. So it doesn't actually keep the stock. So there's a couple ways to do that. We're not going to focus on it right now, but I just want to let you know that's what's going on. But we could either save this to a file that is specifically made to hold data, like a CSV file or something like that. Or we can put in a loop here that will keep this data as long as our program's running. And that's what we're going to do in today's tutorial. We'll get to that in a few minutes. So I'm going to remove print stock, and let's see what our next step was. That's not what I want. Allocate the food to the person, update the amount in stock, print back a message indicating the person has been fed their food type. Okay. Now we need to get the person's name, because we got the food, we got data input, but we need to be able to access the person's name. We want to keep track of the person's name. So let's do that. Let's do person, set equal, and we're going to do another input function. Who ate the food? Alright. Now, once again, if we run this program, we're not going to see what person's doing. We're also not going to see what stock is doing. So let's take this one step further. Luke asked that we go ahead and print back what a user did. So let's do that. Let's do print, and then we're going to do what we can do is 2 different ways. We can do food plus person. Let's do it this way first. And we'll run our program. And we'll say apples. Say John. Apples John. Alright, so both of them were saved. Alright, cool. But that's not going to do anything for me in the long run. It's not pretty. You know, I'm not going to submit this to a client and say, oh, here's your program that spits back apples John. You know, so let's make it a little bit more enticing. So instead of writing it out like this, let's use formatting. So no string, we're going to say this one's going to be where the person's name goes, so we can say John 8, and then this one will be where the food type is. Then we're going to go back here and hit dot format. Oops. Sorry about that, I deleted one of my parentheses. And then we're going to put person, comma, food. Alright, now let's try this again. What food was eaten? Let me move up my terminal here. Apples. Who ate the food? John. John ate apples. Alright, so now it's starting to look a little bit better. It's starting to function a little bit better. So this is all good and stuff, but what happens if the food doesn't exist in our stock? It's something we didn't think about. So let's improve on that. So we got to check if the food actually exists, because we don't want to just subtract food from a stock that doesn't exist. Actually, it will not work, to tell you the truth. So let's take a look at that. Let's say berries. Who ate the food? John. And then we get this key error. Berries doesn't exist because we can't find it in the dictionary. So how are we going to fix that? Well, we're going to kind of like put in like a protection that says, hey, if the food doesn't exist, do something else. All right, so let's do an if food in stock. So if the food does exist, if the key is in the dictionary, then do something. All right, so this is an if statement. And you got an indent after the code block here. Then we're going to do else. And we'll print something down here and we'll say food is out of stock. Alright. So now let's go ahead and run that same command again. I'm going to clear my screen to get it back up to the top. What food was eaten? We'll do berries again, since we know it does not exist in our dictionary. Who ate the food? John. The food is out of stock. We can say, now we can change this to be even more dynamic. What food is out of stock? We can say berries is out of stock. So let's do that. Berries is out of stock. Berries are out of stock. Then we'll do dot format again, and we'll put food. Now let's run that program again. Berries, John. Berries are out of stock. All right, our program's looking more dynamic. It's looking a lot better. All right, so berries are out of stock. Pretty cool, right? Now, also Luke indicated he wanted to be able to track if someone's eaten. All right, so let's take a look at that, and that's down. Let's just double check what he wanted to do. If a person attempts to eat twice, print a message to the screen indicating they've been sent to the break. Alright, so he runs a pretty tight ship over there. He doesn't want people eating more than their fair portion. Sorry, so I had to pause the video. My son woke up, so I do apologize to hear him in the background. Anyway, let's get this finished here. So what we want to do is see if a person has eaten yet. And to do that, we need to create a list, and we'll call this one already ate. Alright, square brackets. And it's an empty list, and this is where we're going to put our people that have eaten already. All right, so we got our list that will hold our the people that have eaten. All right, so now we got to add that person to the list. So let's go ahead and do that down here. We'll do person. Oh, I'm sorry. Already ate. And we'll append the person that's eaten. All right. We'll save that, and we'll just print already ate. All right. Now let's run our program again, and we want to make sure we use a food that's in our stock, and we'll say John. All right. And it said John ate apples, and then in our list that already ate, you see John. All right. So we printed that back. That's great. All right, so when someone eats food, we're adding the person to this list up here. Well, now we have to be able to figure out if the person has eaten or not. Because if they have eaten, we want to say we're sending them to the break. So let's do another if statement inside this if statement. So right here we'll do if person in already ate. We'll do this. Oh no. We'll do, this would be else. And if the person's in there, we're going to do print. And we'll do the person's name. So we're going to format it. Was sent to the break. Alright, and then dot format. And we'll do person. Now let's go ahead and save that. For this to work, since we don't, our program will end at the end here after it goes through. We have to just put some dummy text in here. We'll put John. Alright, just to test it out. Now let's go run our program again. What food was eaten? Apples. Who ate the food? John. John was sent to the break. Alright, let's try this again with a different person. Make sure it works. Apples. Joe. Joe ate apples. Alright, so far our program's working. So now what we want to do is see what else Luke asked for here. If the person's been fed and there's no remaining food that matches their has not been fed, print a message. Alright, let's see if we did that. So we don't currently have a way to check if there's zero food in the stock. Like up here, pairs is 0. So what I want to do is actually clean this up a little bit. In this else statement, let's do another if statement. So if stock dot or square bracket food is greater than 0, do something. Alright, so we're gonna tab this one in again, and we're gonna have an else statement down here, and we're gonna print another statement, and we're gonna say, let's see, alright, so we're gonna say the person's name didn't or did not eat because we are out of, and that will be our food. And then we'll format, and we'll do person, and we'll do food. Alright, so this time let's run this again. We're going to call pairs. This should come back as the person didn't eat because we're out of pairs. Alright, so what food was eaten? Pears. Who ate the food? Bob. Bob did not eat because we are out of pears. Alright, program's still working pretty good. We're covering all the bases that Luke asked us for. Now, we're able to track if the person has eaten, and also if what food is available, and we're able to take the food out. But I said before, I would like to keep this program running until we do something to quit. But first off, I want to create a ability for the user to add stock, check stock, enter a purchase, or quit the program. So let's create ourselves a little menu here that will give us the ability to. Alright, so with the menu, I believe that's what I was talking about because I walked away again. Let's go ahead and create a menu, but we're going to use a function because I want to be able to add the menu in a couple different locations, and instead of repeating myself, we'll just create a menu. So let's call it a definition, DEF. We'll create a definition. We'll call it menu, and then parentheses, and then colon. All right. We're going to have print, and our first one would be press 1 to do something. So we're going to say press 1 to add stock. So this gives the user ability to add stock. Alright. We'll have another one that says print, and we'll say press 2 to check stock. This will print back the dictionary to us, and it will give us the ability to check what's in stock. Alright. Next one would be print, press 3, and this will let's see, to enter a purchase. So if someone purchases food, they'll be able to enter it here. Print, press Q to quit the program. Alright, so this will kill the program so it's no longer running. And then the last thing we need to do is return input. What would you like to do? Now this is going to be like what we do beforehand with the input. It's going to ask them what they want to do. So when you enter it in, it's going to return that code here, and we're going to use that down here to select what we want to do, and we'll build the rest of it as we go on. But this is our menu, and we're going to do runs equal to menu. So we're going to run a code. So run's going to represent menu's function. So I would like our program to keep running until we say, hey, quit, use Q. When we press Q, it's going to quit our program. To do that, we're going to use a while loop. So while true, do something. Alright. So while it's true, keep running. Alright. So like I said, while true, it's going to keep on running. So to show that to you, let's run our program. What food was eaten? Let's say apples. Who ate the food? Joe. And then what would you like to do? Press 1, and it does nothing because 1 means nothing. Alright, so let's clear that. Now let's improve on our product because it should have kept running. It should have showed me stock, but I don't have stock. So let's do stock first. Let's do I'll do another if statement. I'll move this one down a little bit, just get out of my way. Let's do if run is equal to 1. Alright, so run's going to represent whatever's put in here. So if we run the menu, or when the menu runs and the user puts in 1, it's going to do something. So if run is equal to 1, do something. All right. Um, so what was we doing? Oh, add stock. So let's do add stock is equal to input. All right. Food to be added to stock, question mark. So it's going to ask the user what food they would like to add to stock, amount to be added, so we'll do input, and we'll do quantity of food to be added to stock, added to be added to stock. So now we're asking the user how much food they would like to add to the stock. All right. Now, when you use input, it kicks back as a string. Well, we want an integer, so it goes along with our stock up here. These are integers here. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to change this to use the integer function that will change the string to a integer. So we'll do it like that. So the input, we get the input, and then it converts it to integer, and then its amount's going to represent that integer. Then we're going to do, now we have to add it to the dictionary, so we'll do stock, square brackets, add stock. So this is our key. And then we'll assign the value to that key, which we called amount. And then, what else do we want to do? We're going to run the menu. Because after it does this, after we add an item, I want to go back to the menu so that the user can now choose another avenue to go, or add more stock, or enter a purchase, or quit the program. So we want to run the menu down here. Okay. Let's see here. Let's do number 2. Let's check the stock. All right, so we'll push this one down again. And the next thing we're going to use, is an Elif statement. It says else or if. So if this one's not true, we're going to go to the next one, Elif. And it says runs equal to 2. We're going to do something. We're going to say for key and value in stock items. Do something. So it's going to go through stock and items. All right. So or go through the stock. Here's stock, and these are items. Apples and value together are items. And we're going to say, hey, we want the key and the value. So key is going to represent key, and value is going to represent value, and we're going to do something with them. So we're going to print them, and we'll use formatting again. So we're going to print, let's do it this way, print the key and then print the value, and we'll format that to do key and value. Just like that. Alright. And just like before, we're going to run the menu again. Runs equal to menu. Alright. So our third one, enter a purchase. Well, here we already did that one. So let's go ahead and take this one, indent it one more in, and then let's do another if statement here. And this one's going to be our Elif statement. Run is equal to 3. Do something. So ours is going to be enter a purchase. All right. Let's see here. Food in stock, person, eat. We're going to have to put a run menu after this one. Alright. And we're going to have to put run menu. Menu here. And we're going to have to run menu here. And run equal menu here. Alright, cool. And then our last one we need to do is the quit one. So let's go ahead and do, let me extend my program here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Do elif run equal to q, do something, and we're going to say break. And break will just end the program. And after we do that, all the way down here, outside the if statements, we're going to do print. The program has ended. That way we know it has ended. Now, let's go ahead and run this and see if we have any errors anywhere. What food was eaten? Apples. Who ate the food? Joe. Alright, what we'd like to do. Add stock. See if we have an error. And we might have an error here because it's hung up. So Control C will kill the program. Stock elif equal 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we got an error here to elif run 3, and not really sure what the error being. Remember I told you that input kicks back a string, not a integer. So right here we use integers. Alright, and then we use a string down here. So instead of deciphering, alright, what the input's going to be, is it going to be a string or is it going to be a integer? Let's just change these to integers, or I mean strings. Change the integers to strings. That way we don't have to mess with changing the Q to something else. Alright, so let's go ahead and save our program. Let's go back and run it. What was eaten? Apples. Joe. Then we'll go ahead and add a stock. Food to be added. Berries. Remember before we couldn't use berries. Quantity 10. Now let's check our stock. So we use 2. And let me clear my screen. Let's do that one more time. What would you like to do? 2. We want to check stock. We got berries 10, apples 5, pears 0, oranges 2. Alright, sweet. So what we did was we added our menu and we're able to go through and select these things. So if I do 3, it says Joe ate apples. Well, that's not going to work for us, because what happens if I want to add someone else ate something? So let's go ahead and look at that in a second. And let's just make sure Q works. Q, your program has ended. Sweet. Alright, so our issue we're having right now is if I choose menu item 3, I should be able to enter another purchase. Alright, so first off, well, that was my wife calling and I completely forget where I was. So first off, we want to figure out, let's see, what did I want to figure out? Oh yeah, when I press 3, it comes back, Joe was sent to the brig, and stuff like that. That shouldn't be happening, because I should be able to enter another person's food. One thing we can try here. This shouldn't be here because if you notice when we run our program, if we run our program here, what food was eaten? Apples. All right. Who ate the food? Joe. And then we get kicked to the menu here, and then I hit 3, and it said Joe ate apples. Well, why am I being prompted again to add in food and person? So let's go ahead and copy that or cut that out. Save our thing, our program, and go down to where this should be put in. And this should run right after 3 is selected. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Just go ahead and save that. And go up and I gotta kill my program. So what would you like to do? Quit. Cool. I'm out of my program. Let's go ahead and run our program again. It's going to ask me what I want to do. I say 3. I want to enter a purchase. What food was eaten? I would say apples. Who ate the food? Joe. Joe ate apples. Alright, so let's try this again. 3. What food was eaten? Let's do berries. Who ate the food? Bob. And it says berries out of stock. Alright, good. Our program's working right now. And remember I told you before, berries is not in our dictionary up here. So whenever we kill the program, we're going to lose whatever is added to that dictionary, so that's why it comes back like that. So that's our program. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to see. Maybe extend the program. But it does work. It does do what Luke asked us for it to do. You can definitely make it a lot more intense, a lot cooler. So maybe we'll do that in the next tutorial. Instead of allowing this data up here, well, first off, let's take out John out of here. So that should be an empty dictionary. This data up here, like stock, maybe we should change that so we're actually saving it to another file. So whenever we fire up our program, that data is available to us instead of it getting erased every time. If you guys have any questions about what I did today, or if you want to see something different, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Have a nice day.